Your brain does not care about your dreams. It cares about conserving energy, which is why Netflix wins against your to-do list almost every time. That lazy lump of gray matter inside your skull is not plotting your rise to greatness. It is plotting how to keep you alive with the least possible effort. Think of it this way. Your brain is like a shady roommate who promises to help with the dishes, but somehow ends up binge-watching reality shows instead. Motivation is not a gift your brain hands you in the morning. It is not natural. It is hacked, tricked, and forced into existence. The uncomfortable truth is that your brain was designed for survival, not success. It evolved to help your ancestors run away from saber-toothed tigers, not to help you write a business plan or hit the gym at 6 a.m. That is why when you try to start a new habit, it feels like pushing a broken shopping cart uphill. The software is outdated. It is like trying to run the latest iPhone apps on Windows 95. Motivation crashes constantly, freezes without warning, and sometimes just shuts down altogether. Until you understand that your brain is wired for short-term comfort over long-term growth, you will keep losing the battle between doing what is easy and doing what actually matters. Here is where science steps in with an uncomfortable twist. Motivation does not run on rewards. It runs on anticipation. Dopamine, the so-called pleasure chemical, is not about enjoying the reward, but about craving the next one. In laboratory experiments, rats press a lever not because the reward is so satisfying, but because the possibility of the reward keeps them obsessed. The same mechanic drives humans today. Every endless swipe on TikTok, every just one more scroll, is your brain chasing anticipation, like a gambler chasing the next jackpot. The result? You are not lazy. You are trapped in a loop designed by your own brain chemistry. First hack: trick the brain with micro wins. Big goals sound inspiring, but to your brain, they feel like standing at the bottom of Mount Everest wearing flip-flops. That is why the secret is not chasing giant leaps, but creating tiny wins. Neuroscience shows that even the smallest accomplishment delivers a dopamine hit, a chemical drip that keeps you moving forward. It is not about the size of the win, it is about stacking them. Your brain treats crossing off "drink water" on your to-do list like it just won the Olympics. That small victory flips a switch. Suddenly, you are not a failure sitting on the couch. You are a person in motion. And momentum, not motivation, is what actually builds progress. Second hack: rewire your environment. Motivation is not just in your head, it is in your surroundings. Put yourself in the wrong setting, and your willpower collapses like a cheap folding chair. A phone buzzing next to you will destroy your focus faster than any lack of discipline. But move that phone across the room, and suddenly you have to make an Olympic-level effort just to grab it. This is called cue-driven behavior. Your actions are triggered by the objects and signals around you. Want to study more? Leave your books open on the desk. Want to snack less? Hide the chips behind something boring, like a bag of lentils. Your brain is not as smart as you think. It is a puppet, and the strings are your environment. Third hack: use pain as motivation. Sometimes pleasure is not enough to get moving. That is when pain steps in as the ultimate motivator. Psychologists have found that people are often more driven to avoid loss than to chase reward. This is why gym commitment contracts exist. If you skip, you pay. Turns out, losing $50 hurts more than skipping leg day. The fear of pain, financial, social, or even emotional, creates a sharper edge than any motivational speech ever could. It is the stick instead of the carrot, and for most brains, the stick works better. If you want to force action, make inaction expensive. Fourth hack: the dopamine buffet. Here is where you turn your brain's weaknesses into weapons. The trick is called temptation bundling, which means pairing something hard with something you love. Imagine an engineer who only allowed himself to watch Netflix while running on a treadmill. Suddenly, the treadmill was not torture. It was the ticket to his favorite shows. That is how the brain works. It will drag itself through the boring if it knows dessert is waiting on the other side. It is like giving your brain vegetables with a hidden layer of chocolate cake underneath. Hard tasks stop feeling like punishment when you lace them with rewards you genuinely crave. Here is the plot twist. Motivation is not something you stumble upon like loose change in the couch cushions. It is a system you build brick by brick. The world's most productive people are not waiting around for inspiration to strike like lightning. They have hacked their routines so that action comes first and motivation follows. Waiting to feel motivated is the reason most goals die halfway. Motivation is like Wi-Fi. It never shows up when you actually need it, so you better hotspot yourself. Once you realize this, you stop chasing the mood to work and start engineering the conditions that force it to appear. At the end of the day, your brain is programmable. If you stop waiting for inspiration and start designing hacks, systems, and little traps for yourself, you can force it to do the work even when every cell in your body is screaming for the couch. Your brain is lazy, stubborn, and a bit of a snitch, but now you know how to outsmart it. So the question is, which hack are you going to try first? Drop it in the comments. Share this with someone whose brain is betraying them. And do not forget to subscribe for more uncomfortable truths about psychology that you will actually laugh at while learning.